Hey! Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to our second how to say video on Twitch. As you can see, pro here, done it once and still getting the hang of it because we make games, not streams. I would like to find a way to how do I see the there you go. So is anybody in the chat already? Write a message if you're already in the chat. Hello. Perfect. So yeah, so welcome to Screenplay Dev Diary. I'm gonna show some stuff that been a little bit of back behind the scenes, behind the curtains, on the crew side, what we've been up to, and what we're doing, how we do things. Hopefully interesting. I want to start with this one, which is a little bit of sneak or backside of intro to the artwork stuff, because hi Voma, is that how I would say it? Voma, hi Voma. Yeah, so we would like to show you how we come up with the characters, or at least what's the process here. So I start with this artwork, which is where we are with Trophy Hunter. He was never supposed to be a lead. He was actually just one of the characters from the story of the Raptor kid, but he got promoted. He's a lead now, which fit very well with the mechanic, the mechanic for his lead status, which I think I would not say much until it's revealed on the Discord channel. But yeah, so he went a long way, but before you see this version, we had him like this. I'm not very proud of it. I mean, it's good. It's not like super bad or something, but it's more of a concept art than an actual artwork style that we were going for. This was way back in the initial of the project when we made Trophy Hunter, and yeah, the art style didn't fit with us in the long run, because we were trying different things with different artists, and we slowly started figuring out the style that works for us the best. So this style works great if you're doing a concept art and you kind of showcasing what the concept is and sort of pitching to design a model, or in that sort of process in game development. But I think for our style, we were looking for a much more consistent art style, but also flesh out the character and also bring the humor that kind of inspired us to make Screenplay. So bring that in. This, if we are thinking this is a possibility that we will give these as a legacy card art that you could get as alternate card art, only during the early access period, because after that they will be gone. So for the early adopters, they could show and sort of make fun of the developers and show because we don't want these card art to be out. So maybe you can show and say, we got it, we were there before the game became super popular. It's our presumption. Gets super popular. But if that happens, then yeah, definitely you can be like, we have this card. So Trophy Hunter is obviously a character that's inspired. You can guess it's inspired from Spaghetti Western, Good, Bad, and Ugly, and the antagonist character. Angel Eyes is a huge inspiration for this, but he's Snake Eyes. He has a backstory, which is at the moment you don't get sort of in-depth story into ScreenPlay with the current playtest version. But once we start doing campaigns and stuff, you will see. So he's a kind of a mystery. Nobody knows. He has a skin condition that makes him look, has the snake sort of look. It's kind of based, like there's a real condition that some people suffered with, and he has that. However, this particular character, he's a bounty hunter, and he's very, very good. So if that gives you a little bit of clue where this lead's gonna go, so that's why he was named Trophy Hunter Snake Eyes. Now we just call him the Snake Eyed Hunter because he's a lead, so it fit the name. It still has a bit of enigma to him, like you don't know what's his backstory, and he just loves trophy hunting, and especially dino hunting. He has only one dinosaur that he doesn't shoot, which is his own Allosaurus that he rides. Desperatosaurus is actually his ride. And Trophy Hunter otherwise prefers to hunt dinos and collect them. It's the biggest sport for him. It's the biggest achievement for him. And the humor is that in the daytime, he hunts outlaws, catches them for bounty, so he can fund his real passion, which is hunting dinosaurs. So he does the day, day grind, to fund his true passion. It's like a true artist background there. He has to do something on the side to get fund his true passion. So yeah. We actually also have another version of him. This is a sketch by our artist Cheryl, and she's fantastic, a very brilliant sketch artist, and she does like pencils, very clean pencils, which is very nice it reminds you of like the old design sheets that would make for animation. So she would sketch them and then make a very clean pencil. It's a very different approach to most of the artist work in the current, let's say, landscape. Like they don't usually do this like that unless they're doing like a vector style, but we really like her sketches so much, and combo it with another artist named Gaga who did the coloring. So this was the initial process that we were doing back then when we started building ScreenPlay. I have to constantly look at the chat here because I don't want to miss out the messages. Yes. Hey, Yarakthiln. I haven't still played a match with you, but hopefully some point. I did play with Voma, and I played with Toaster. He destroyed me. So look forward to that. Yeah, and so this is the sketch, and what usually give it to Gaga. He does the coloring. I'm curious what you think about this particular version. I think it's really like the artwork in general. It's like a beautiful artwork, but it might be weird, like why did we not use this artwork specifically? Because if you notice, like ScreenPlay artwork now because when we were building the game, we were kind of experimenting with the ideas, but slowly we developed a particular art style that fits us, which is we like to each image to tell a story and also have a lot of humor in it. We like the humor part of it, and this particular is great artwork. It's a fantastic artwork, but we didn't have a version which was conveying like the humor and story side. So this would be another alternate art that would be available that players can unlock, both for Desperatosaurus and Trophy Hunter. But yeah, like we went in that direction. Also, actually, one of the reasons we changed the lead artwork style, or we try to keep it consistent, because leads at least should be the same art style. Otherwise, it looks kind of strange, and we wanted to have a consistent art style, so we redesigned it. So, this is where sometimes you have to go through iteration process, and then we got the latest Snake Eyed Hunter. Now, there's more humor in this. This is more our style, let's say, screenplay style. Maybe some like it, some don't like it. But personally, we love this art style. This is obviously our artist Kevin who did the version. I mean, since Kevin sort of defined the style, it has stuck with us. In such an awesome way that we like to bring the humor. So here you can see he's trophy hunting. He's got the outlaw and the dinosaur both sort of trapped. And we love this little humor of always like reference of other characters kind of looking at the scene. So you can see the dinosaurs from the back. The sauropods are kind of like going, what the heck's going on? Even there's a hedgehog, if you look at little detail on the cactus side, kind of afraid. And so this is kind of where the direction is. Now the next step, which is what's the next step with him is has to be animated, because when he maxes out, you will see a cool animation. And this animation is done by Nicolo, who is our spine animator. He's a genius. I'm an animator myself, but once I see his animations, I kind of quit. I realized, okay, this is a level that you can't compete at that level. So he's so good. I mean, I presume you guys seen the max out animations of all those animations. I mean, 90% of them are done by Nicolo. He's just brilliant. He rigs it himself, he animates it, and he's one of those rare animators where you don't need to tell him what you want from the character. If you give him the artwork, he exactly knows what that character is, and he animates it. So yeah, it's really awesome to see. So I can't wait him to animate this. Honestly, I can't wait for him to animate all the upcoming leads now, because it's just so awesome to see them come to life. And also have his voices done. Which, by the way, at this point, like, there are certain characters, a lot of characters' voices are not done. So if you ever have any nudges, you can do it. If you like an idea, we might go that route with the voices. But yeah, feel free to give us any information that you would like to see in the game, because we make the game for you guys. So that's the most important part. By the way, just curious, like, will you guys be interested to collect? What do you think players would be interested to collect, the legacy artwork, or is it something you put it on the archive on? Would players be interested? Obviously, we don't want to do it like the grind of like you just getting the art, but I think it's cool to have like sort of the original design from where it evolved to where it is. Next one, I kind of go in the same route. I mean, feel free to write any question here, so I will maybe explore topics further, because I'm kind of winging it here. If you can see, I had an idea, but well, Yarak Heelan says, I find it awesome that he's holding a two-handed rifle in one hand and a pistol in the other. Is this like, are you an experienced with guns? Like, do you have experience with guns? Because only real, like, people who have experience with guns will find details that the artist would easily miss. But yeah, so Yarak Heelan says it's exactly the kind of thing that one would pull off in a movie, but would be extremely impractical. Also, Yara is fine. Yes, okay, thanks. That helps. My name's Kurdy, but I end up always telling people to call me K-Dog, because when you meet people, they ask you the name, and then I have the same problem, and then I say Kurdy, and in Europe they can't pronounce R, so they would say, like, I would say it's Kirti, and the Kirti is the proper pronunciation of my name, and they would end up saying Kitty because they can't say R, and then I become at a party, I become Hello Kitty. So yeah, so I just started saying my name's K-Dog. Don't ask me where it came from, but yeah, it's like a weird film school name that stuck with me, so makes it easier. So Yara, yes, Yara's fine. Yeah, he's a fantastic bounty hunter, so let's presume that's his skill, that he can hold a two-handed rifle in one hand. Strong man. Next one is Maximus. Now Maximus, this was the initial sketch. Sometimes good to show the ones that didn't work. I mean, I hope the artist doesn't hate me for showing this, but he knows it was not his favorite design. He knows that. I won't mention the name, but designed the sketch, and we were like, nope, that's not the Maximus we were looking for. He's supposed to take revenge. This doesn't look like this. Looks like a guy who's gone midlife crisis. So we were like, nope, that's not what we're going for. So we got the luxury to design Maximus, and we got this artwork, which I think is just amazing. Like, I don't know what you guys think, but this is an artwork done by Matti Mikkonen. He's just like amazing what he's done. And this is our Maximus. Like, we're used to this Maximus. I don't think it will ever change. I can probably speak for the team, that from the team's point of view, this is the Maximus that we know. And the voice, like, are you not entertained? That's like, this is the Maximus there. However, we have another problem which we did not really identify until later when the UI and all the stuff was done. It's like two issues. Was one, we had card artwork with some story in the backdrop. There was something going on, and the artwork had to be a square resolution. And so we were like, should we animate this version? Because what would he be doing in this version besides maybe just holding an idle pose? So we wanted like a climatic sort of max out animation that shows him at his, let's say, full potential of his narrative arc. And that's kind of why we redesigned Maximus to have this, which is, and you can see there's a certain pattern now that's in our art style, which is he's in the courtyard of one of the Roman senators. He's here for revenge. He's caught them in the most awkward position. And yeah, it's gonna be brutal. You wanted me back, I'm back. That kind of. So this is kind of, but I didn't do the voice of Maximus, but once you hear the voice enough in your head, it kind of sticks. I'm always scared of doing voice. I think I can do the voice sort of a little bit, but every now and then my accent would kick in, and that's not the best for the for the character. So yeah, like this is where we ended it, and I really love the story. I mean, this is where you can see, if you look at our artwork, I hope people see, like, at least we try. There's a story there, so you can see there's one guy on the rooftop, so you can had a battle, came down, he kicked another guy's ass. One guy shocked, and now he's ready to take his revenge. And yeah, so one of the ways we do that is like Kevin, our artist, he does like sketches first, and usually it's 2 sketches, and then we pick which version we want to go with. Sometimes we find some elements in one version and then we move it into the other version, or back and forth. But yeah, like this one we went with B, and we really liked the pose, except nobody told us that he should not be holding a 2-handed rifle. But we didn't have any gun. I think, okay, we have one dev who's a gun expert, but maybe he didn't say anything. Yeah, so we went with this version, but it's always exciting to see the process here. So yeah, this character has gone through quite iterations. I mean, sometimes we have the situation where a character goes through multiple iterations to get to where he is. So any questions so far before I move on to next aspect that I would like to show behind the screenplay? Let me know if you have any question. This design. Okay. Kind of wanted to show a quick sneak peek. I don't know if we've really showed this publicly. We have another splash art in works, so you can see some of the characters. By now you're already getting used to them, or at least you know the names. There is one character probably I'm seeing one character that you don't know. I mean, he's in the story, but you probably haven't seen the card yet, so you will see soon. But yes, I'm curious, how many characters do you see that you can recognize in this splash artwork? True, I should have. Peter says I should have written behind the screenplay. That should be the name for the stream. Well, actually, I could still change it if Twitch allows it. So, I mean, everybody knows Jawsy, obviously, right in the center there, the shark rapping, and actually, I'd be curious if you can recognize. Yara says, I'm not even a gun expert, I just know wielding heavier weapons than intended is badass. It's like the Terminator shooting a chain gun, but much more mild. Yeah, of course. It's like, remember, what was the movie, the Clint Eastwood movie, Dirty Harry, where he has this gun, which is, I forgot the gun name, but it's like it's huge gun. And I found out that it's such a heavy gun to shoot with. And yes, Picky Prospector, fantastic, good one. Yara gets a narrative point for identifying Picky Prospector. Yes, so it's like, what was the gun name? Does anybody know what the gun name is? For Dirty Harry. That's like a big heavy gun that you can't really hold properly, but Clint Eastwood makes it look like a walk in the park. Gatling gun. No. Is it again? No, it's like a. I could Google it. It's cheating. What is it? Dirty Harry gun. Smith. No. It's not that one. Not Smith. 44 Magnum. Isn't that one? I think it's. Or was it which one? No. Well, anyways, there will be some movie folks who will point us later, who knows that. Maybe it's a Desert Eagle. No. I think Dirty Harry's number 7. Actually, seen Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry. Okay, that's a whole different movie, Boba. I think you mean Dirty Harry, but Dirty Harry. I don't know which movie is Dirty Harry. Oh, no worries. I mean, okay, like the problem is the olden movies have much more or like first time certain ideas or whatever. So we will also take inspiration from new stuff, but a lot of times the new stuff is taking inspiration from the old stuff, so it's kind of repeat in that sense. But yeah, so yeah, big fan of this artwork. Like, just want to show a splash art. Hope we'll finish it soon. Would be cool to actually change the splash artwork on the homepage. We actually wanted to do a splash art for each theme. So the one that you see right now is horror with Ben Bones. This one is adventure, hence all the adventure characters. Next one would be cool to see an action and so on, and drama and so forth. So now I'm gonna show you something that did not make it in this current version of the game. We actually decided not to implement it. Or not to add it, because it became much more complicated. We spent a lot of energy trying to build it during the early stages, but realized it was too much. But hopefully one day we could bring it in some form. It is so when you click on the versus screen, you would, at the moment, you see the two directors artwork and you see the versus. But originally it used to be a procedurally generated movie poster. Every time you would hit versus, it would be, yes, that was what we were developing. We built a portion of it. I'm gonna give you some sneak peek here. the idea was like it would take a certain structure of poster ideas and then recreate based on the two player names. So for example, if you're playing, it'll be directed by player 1 and player 2. Some of the character names, the lead characters, random card artwork, and a procedurally generated movie title. So this one, I don't know if you can get the reference where this poster idea came. So this is like one of the ideas example, but I would go to a better one. We tried a lot of experiments. We had this one, which was moving salad. So you always have like the zoom out of two characters, like this like general poster design, you know, one character on the left, one character on the right, half cut, the title. So this was another one that I guess it gives the template of the movie that's inspiration. Now I realize the PSD files. So Crazy Stupid Love is the first template. Changing Lanes is another one. This is not one which was another joke, which was there is a very common trend in some comedy movies, but it's also done with other genres, which is like through the legs poster. There was always like the legs composition, and there was the main character standing with the movie title and some silly phrase. So here, the popper: one fish, one dream, zero skill. We didn't add these are not game. We were developing something like that, but it just became quite complicated. So yeah, the idea was that you could replace the legs. You could be like like let's say a cowboy character, and then you have a different situation, or a Roman character and different leg, and or for example vaccinate in this case, and then it will be like change the Revenge of the Purple Zombie. So this was an idea. And what's interesting, I don't know if I could show it. I think I didn't arrange my stream to support this. I just realized I didn't because I'm using OBS. Is I have the option. Let me see if I can show it. So it might do something weird, so apologies if it does. Oh yeah, so let me resize that. And let me move that up. So this is the app that we have, which is, can you see the press space, right? I just want to be sure that you're seeing this. Press space, it says. We had made a movie name generator / subtitle generator. So you can go press space and it will just keep generating different movies. So Rap Battle hosts in white. With Jurassic Carnomaniac Butcher comes Dark Fault. In Love with the Yellow Tomb, Dark Dumb Escort. Sometimes the names would go crazy. They would just get very long names. Let me see a good one. The Rich Card, Revenge of the Nine Husbands, From Dimension to Altar. Pink Escobar, That Lies First, Pink Escobar. Chemtrail Pilots in Silver, I Love You Conflict. Mesozoic Eve, Green is Furious. Kill Back, Part 10. Is any good one? Chocolate Taster 12. That's a great movie. Chocolate Taster 12. Fierce Thirst. 4 guys, 3 meat eaters, 1 justice. This is like Dead Husband from Orange Jungles 4. The Last Dead Husband. Even a snake eyes deserves a 26th chance. So it was a little bit like inspired from, if you remember Tropic Thunder, they had like these parody movies in the beginning, like trailers, if you remember. And so it was kind of like this, where what would be these movies that these two directors are making, and that would show up on the versus screen poster. So every now and then you get like a really funny one. Look at this one. 1003 decorators, 6. He required a knife. Instead, he found a hat. What does that even mean? Billion Lovers, a trip into the yellow gas station of conflict. Pirates, part 26. 26 extraterrestrials, 1000 golf ball divers, 1 food. I mean, if Hollywood is looking, there's some great ideas here. Come on. At least original, that's for sure. So, I mean, I don't know if there's any way we could implement them in the future. But we thought, like, for the versus screen, it's a very short time to look at the poster. That's why we... Yeah, exactly. It was like, it's too risky, number one. Yes, it could be like some weird stuff would come out. I don't think it wasn't like AI generated. It was generated like, how do you say, like it uses a certain structure of sentences and like combines to build, the movie name and the slogan and stuff. So it's not like a Chat GPT kind of thing or something. Though maybe that's probably better. Like it wasn't there when we started developing it. AI wasn't a thing, or at least was not a thing in the game industry when we were developing this. But maybe that could work. But yeah, like Yara says, like I can see how it would be extremely difficult to implement AI generated text into your game while having it fit the vibe. Yeah, it's 100%. But I think the biggest issue was you get the poster, you see it on a versus screen, you see it for like what? When you start a match, you don't want to spend too long. You want to get into the match. So it was kind of like, okay, you see this poster that maybe you like, but you barely see it. And then when do you see it again? The end of the match? But was that like, so it was a lot of things that we made it difficult to where to put it. And the effort for the, the result was not worth it. I think. Yeah, so exactly. So yeah, like that's what we are. And some other behind the scene or behind the screenplay. Did you know that our game looked like that? This is a sneak peek of early development, and it's like there might be some, I would say disclaimer. Just like it was just artwork we used at the time, because initially when we were developing the code, we didn't have any artwork. We were just slapping artwork, so there might be some other games artwork there. But the penguins were very early on, so it was Peter's. Goat was, I think, on my side, and penguin was on Peter's side. And the penguins were very early on, and they even had sounds at that time. Peter put the sound effects. Sorry, my mistake. You can see Pro here. Okay, better. Thank you, Yara, for pointing out. So yeah, this is a sneak peek screen of the older version, and like I was saying earlier, like we just some other games artwork there, because this was just a work in progress. It's not supposed to, this is not a published thing, but this is purely in development. It's very common when you're developing something, you're slapping random visuals because you focus too much on the design and the code aspect of it. What's crazy, I think Peter, if you want to add more on the chat, and I will elaborate, but we had a very complicated system of this wheel that would decide what goes first. And yeah, this is very early design. It was I think it was quite nightmarish to it didn't work. It was clearly wasn't working, because we tried the simultaneous at that time, and we didn't have the film reel idea at that time, so it was not clicking at all. I think this is where things changed a little bit with the, we were designing how the lead would be and how the stats would be. So this is a very nice, amazingly not graphic design. This is a lead, that's the attack, that's this meter. And actually I don't know if I should say it, because we had actually more features in this game that we had to cut because we realized it was just a bit going overboard with complexity, and we had to remove some of the stuff because it makes sense. This screen explains the entirety of modern screenplay. Yep. So we did have this was a huge shift in terms of the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 and the structure, but I don't think yeah, 100%. Voma is saying that makes a lot of sense. You have to find that level of complexity that's right for your game. Yeah, it's just I mean, you know how it is, like you're designing the game and you have all these ideas and it's like bursting. You're like, we could do this, we could do that, we're gonna add a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Like you're just like, you're adding so much and you're not kind of aware that for a new player it would just be extremely overwhelming. And you're not thinking in, I mean, maybe there's a little bit of experience also in some sense. I'm sure there's some other game developers out there who will say, oh geez, these guys are a bunch of noobs, they don't know what the heck they're doing, and they have maybe more experience, they're like, you plan it. But I think there's a difference between if you're a big games company and you have like this big business vision and financials and stuff like that, then what happens is you always have this strategy of like long term and how to do things. But for smaller team, we're just like super passionate, we're just making a game that we love. It's really that, like we're just trying to add stuff that we want to see and we think it's awesome. And then sometimes we have to pull back and remind ourselves, oh no, this is also a game we want people to play, it's not just a hobby project. It has to feed us so that we can continue developing it. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from. This was a better version of screenplay, I would say. I'm showing something here that I don't know if am I allowed to show this, Peter. It's a bit too late now, I'm already showing it. But this was a screenshot that you gave me. We had this set up. We didn't have film reel at this point. And we also had something which was props. And we had this sort of prop mechanic where you can give cards certain props and you can, up them. And so this was another level of complexity that I don't think in the early stage of the game it makes sense. But maybe sure in future expansion, and if you find a better way to bring it back, like that would be great. But yeah, at the moment I think it was too much when we designed it. And also if you notice, like we had actually initially it was actor versus actor, and it was not really working from conceptually, because the original idea was like the actor becomes the lead, so he could come as a lead character and do certain things. But then it was kind of like, okay, he's lead, but what are the other guys already on the set? Who is they being played by, and why is the actor controlling the entire set? So is it the player? So there was a lot of like confusion in that sense that we felt need more clarification. So I think the director structure really worked once, and I think the biggest change for us where the game started clicking big time was the film reel. At least, yeah, for us it was like the minute the film reel design worked, and then we could see like, okay, this is the structure, and then with the director we could have like the characters could perform, and that's where immediately we could feel it, that this game's fun. I think that's the point where we started having that feeling of like, this game's fun and there is potential. I can see, Yara says, I can see props as a way to do something like Legends of Runeterra's equipments. New question, is there a way to know which player's film reel is going to go first? Oh yes, I kind of did a tutorial video today, but I'll tell you anyways. So uh, at the moment there are two ways to look at it, but we're gonna make it even better that it's more visible. So there's a spotlight, like an orange light that alternates from each director. Sometimes if it's on your end, it's on the bottom left, and then if it switches to the opponent, it's on the top left. So that determines, but also the film reel are offsetted. So when you do the input and hit done, and when it starts playing, you will see that the one who has spotlight, his reel is a bit nudged to the left, and the other one, yes, to the right. So the one on the left is the one that's going early. So we've got the spotlight. Yeah, but honestly, like this was a feedback we got anyways. This last 2 months, we have seen this already that we're fixing, which is to make it more obvious, especially on the film reel, because you generally don't look at the director's avatar when you're playing intently a match. You would rather look at the film reel to know where the spotlight is, if I'm correct. So like that's the feedback we got, and we're making a better visual to clearly show you that it's alternating and who's got the spotlight on the film reel. Yeah. So that's, I think, the art side for this diary, because I'm hoping to do more of these and show more and more of back stuff, and obviously based on your feedback I will know what more else to show. But I do want to show something else, and then maybe we could do just a general Q&A if you have any questions, and we can talk about it. Maybe gameplay stuff, if you say, Peter will answer on the chat and I can clarify. But another thing that we have developed, so at the moment you don't get the full version of it in the game, which is that when the characters, when they interact, you see, how do you say, like they talk, and we have to fine tune it. Also, you're talking about a very big change over time, Yara says, in terms of how the game plays out, but the basic gameplay being do your thing as opposed to kill the opponent that others seem to opt for makes it feel more like a board game. Yeah, it's an interesting point, because personally I feel like the board game sort of, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but sometimes I feel that when people sometimes think that's board game, they immediately put it away from the other CCGs. It's still a CCG for me, but yes, it has this, I don't know why it has to be that CCGs have to be like necessarily killing the opponent. To me, it's at the end, it's like card game with strategy, and you have your different ways to reach your ultimate goal. So, but yes, you are right. Like the feeling is like some people's. This is the feedback we got. Like people say it's a board game, but hopefully, like presumably that's a positive, right? Whichever way you look at it, as long as people are having fun and they're enjoying it, the labels don't matter. So Voma says, I do like card games that opt for race win cons over hit opponent phase win cons. I've followed Keyforge since the first and really got to enjoy just focusing on reaping and Ember collection, etc. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think in design terms, I did say today in the tutorial video, but which was like, there are a couple of reasons I went in the direction of where the design is. So first of all, totally, it's a way to be unique that I like very much, and I assume others do. Yeah, really, yeah, I hope the same. So for the people who have understood the game, the feedback is positive. I think our challenge obviously is to reach out to more like players more, and that they can see it and fix our tutorial to a point where anybody gets it, because I do think our tutorial is very weak, which is, I think, a valid thing to say. But yeah, I think where the simultaneous play, where it came from, was really this idea of like, I'll tell you the truth. So you could guess which card game it was, but I was playing a particular card game very beginning of this project. Before we even started this project, I was playing a card game, and a friend of mine like got me into it, and he had like all the amazing cards, and I didn't, and I thought like, okay, but I played it and I got some cards, and I just thought like I'm smarter than him. So I really thought that I can have some chance, but I played like 20 matches, and I just, it was just impossible, and I got so frustrated at that particular like session with my friend that I was like, I have no chance. I mean, I have to get the cards. Like, I can't like do anything to have at least like a sliver of possibility that I might have the upper hand. And I think this is where screenplay, that idea of simultaneous play was born, because in simultaneous play, if you see it, it's like, even if you have the best cards, if you kind of guessed it, like this person's gonna do that, you have the upper hand. And that's the aspect that I like a lot. And this is where, yeah, the like Peter's, like the way he designed it with the film reel, and it works so effectively, in my opinion. So I think in real world also it's a bit like this, which was the inspiration, because in real world you're not like sitting there waiting for your, well, in a war situation, you're not waiting for the enemy to attack and destroy a building and go, oh, and then you do something. And so we were kind of thinking like, how would it be if you're already guessing what they're gonna do, and you're anticipating, and you kind of have your intel, which would be Snoopy Reporter in this case, or and then you're figuring out which direction they're gonna go, and meanwhile go to your intention. And I think that's the baseline for screenplay. And if you've noticed, like, I've played the matches myself, but you can correct me if I'm wrong, but even I've played matches, for example, with some of the players on the server, and it's always like very close. It's rare if it's a player who hasn't like figured out some of the key elements, then it can be quite mismatch. But generally, if the both players they know, then it still can be like, if I guess them right, I have an upper hand, and they can guess me in their upper hand, and it's like very close. And you can never say that they will always win, because it's extremely dependent on like how good you're also at getting inside the head of your opponent, in my opinion. So Woma says, me, opponent is probably gonna attack leader, so I should perform with host. Opponent attacks host and ruins everything. Me, surprise Pikachu. Should make a meme out of that and put it on the meme thread. So when I was talking about the dialogue system, so one of the things was like that the reason we also did with the dialogues, I hope it's like open to feedback, but I hope it's not like super annoying. I know some players would probably mute it and don't give a shit and just play. But actually the reason we were doing this was a couple of things. One was that most CCG games that are popular in the market are built on existing IP, so you don't have this requirement of connecting with the character. So if you play an existing IP, you already know what that character is. They just say an entrance phrase and you know what they are. And but for us, it's like, this is new characters, new ideas. They are obviously referencing the cinema world, but they are also stand on their own. And so to have that sort of dialogue would connect you with the character. So I think voice makes a big difference. I personally don't like games that do not have like the characters have some life with the voiceover. It feels very hollow to me, but it's a personal taste. And then the other one is that it's a movie set. They are making a movie, so when they're performing, well, what are they doing? They're talking, they're doing their dialogue. And when they are reacting, what are they doing? They're talking, and so now sound like Christopher talking. Yeah. So they're doing this, and I think that's kind of where that came from. And it's also was ambitious, but we have done it, but we're still working on it, which is doing the dialogues for the characters. So yeah, we've been busy writing some dialogues for the characters. At the moment, you already know, like, we have a lot of them. Like, we have the match beginning where they say stuff. So Yana says, I think that's one of the other big differences, because it means that having more stuff on your board is much better because of the larger options, but a wide board plays much more differently in screenplay than other games where attacking is free. Yes, 100%. Yeah, so yeah, that's 100%. I mean, Peter, feel free to always reply any comment if you have to add something, because this is a collaborative project, and gameplay is huge on Peter's side. I would not put my fingers there. But yeah, like, so I don't know if you noticed. I mean, sometimes we have to still fine tune the dialogues for the characters, but you can see like we have like, we want match begin, lead entrance. We wanted like humor. If character dies, they say something, and we have to sort of time it that the goal is that if an action happens, if they have the capacity, they'll say the line, but if not, they will just react so that they're not slowing up the speed, which I think some cases there might be problem where they're slowing, but this is the fine tuning that we need to do. So Woma says, Yara, very true. Having limited frames to work with a big board sometimes feels kind of bad. So you would prefer to have more frames? Is that both Yara and Woma's opinion here? That you would like to have like more than 6 frames to play? This is like where Peter has to say his opinion or what he thinks or listen. But yeah, I wanted to meanwhile share. We have a lot of funny dialogues for the upcoming characters. We already have the voiceover done for a lot of them, so we'll be adding them. Okay, Yara doesn't think it's bad. Peter, what is your answer to that point? Because I have heard another player say that, but most players are fine. But I have heard another player say, I think they compared it with Lorcana, and then they said that, oh, I can do like 40 actions. I haven't got the chance to play that game. So Peter says, we're also similar to Keyforge in that way that there are no restrictions on the amount of attacks. No, similar to Keyforge in that way, though their restrictions on the amount of attacks is different. Woma says, I don't know more about frames, but I do know that when I have 8 characters on board, I think to myself, dang, I wish I could do more with these, but I only have X frames even for things like performing and attacking. Yeah, Peter, go for it. Yeah, with that game, as long as you have called the right house, you can use all resources belonging to that house. It's a different infrastructure. So he's talking about Keyforge now. Yeah, anyways, like, while you're having this, if Peter answers, I will repeat it, but I don't think you want to go in detail of it, but just wanted to show you, like, we're working on the dialogues for the characters, and there's a reason, and we have the AI bosses also, and we have the leads, and try to add humor where we can. And one of the coolest part, like a character that we got to do, which was a lot of fun to voice, was Bartender Hydra. Because he's the one character, we have 7 voices, but they are all stitched together. It was quite difficult for the voice artist, but we did it. So I can't wait to put that in the game, where they're all a bunch of alcoholics reacting. So you get like, they have different personality, because Steve, he's drunk, always seeking another round. Kevin is brash. Billy is like giggly, finds everything funny. Fred is sleepyhead. Eddie is angry, he's got a short temper. Gus is extremely depressed and lonely, and Lenny is an idiot. So those are the 7 heads of the Bartender Hydra, and they all talk, and you would get, like, who farted? Not me. So they would have these different guys reacting, and we had a lot of fun doing the voiceover for this character. And yeah, a lot of times have a lot of, I don't know, it's like a lot, it's quite a like, how to say, a lot of fun to build these characters and bring them to life. And this is something, it's tricky because, like I said, like most CCGs, they build on existing IP, but I think with ScreenPlay, we got the universe really works for us to sort of explore and go in any direction, and add the humor and the style for it. So that's like, yeah, that we have so much fun doing this. And yeah, I can't wait to get all these done. We still have a lot of characters to do, but hopefully you guys enjoy, and hopefully not everybody's muting them except the pro players, because they don't have time to listen to characters talking. I have met some pro players who don't have patience, and they just want to win. But yeah, I really enjoy the ambient side of it. So last thing I'm gonna end it with, I'm gonna end the visual side of it, and then we could do a Q&A and have a little bit of chat. Is I wanted to show you just a sneak peek of some store aspects. This time I'm just gonna show you that we have deck covers in the works, that you will be able to customize your decks based on your genre or style. So hopefully that's exciting. They're also animated. They're animated in the sense they have some effects that we're going with. So for example, Grim Collector's got So Grim Collector. So Yara says, one of my favorite memories of the game was when I built a huge board of very powerful units, and then I was like, oh, I can't actually use all of these. I can only attack or perform thrice per turn at most, and those can still get interrupted. Yeah, I think it's like it can. Yeah, that was a very. She says that, or sorry, I'm assuming it gendered my mistake. I think it's because of your profile picture. My brain just goes that direction. But Yara says that was a very fun learning moment, and yeah, I think a lot of players coming from other games have this sort of like, well, they try to build the massive amount of units and try to go much more combat, but I think this will change with certain other cards that are coming in, where it will still get quite intense. There's definitely one card who's a troublemaker that I think when Peter releases it, it's gonna be a lot of fun. There's a couple of them, if I remember. So, but yeah, I think that is very different. I think this is something I've noticed. Yeah, Peter says, I think it's fitting cinema theme. You may have a lot of actors, but limited screen time for all of them to shine. At the same time, it's understandable, and more cards which let you capitalize on the amount of units is coming. Check out future spoilers. Exactly. So there are gonna be cards that's gonna cause a lot of chaos on the set. So you will see, like, when you have that many units, things will change. But yeah, I still think, like, it's not entirely like combat heavy. And another thing that we notice with players is, like, they forget to, like, if you notice they do tutorial, they forget to perform. They forget how important performance is to get the points. And these are things I've noticed with players, that they forget to perform, and the other one is they forget that they can switch the lead just to change the strategy. Oh no, all good, Voma. Voma's saying, I look forward to it. I'm not even criticizing in any way. You guys know your game better than me. I just like to give feedback. No, feedback is feedback. It doesn't. There is no, even if it's like something that, if we find out that doesn't work, but it is a genuine, valuable information for us to see and, like, sort of course correct if there need be. That's why they always say, like, even somebody who hates you. I'm not saying you are in this case, but there's an old saying that if somebody hates you, there's something to learn from them also. So I think it's always good to get any feedback. We're honestly, you have no idea how much the team is excited since you guys have been, like, playing it and giving us this feedback and stuff. And I can speak for me and Peter for sure, like, and other members of the team, that it's a combination of a lot of excitement and at the same time a lot of concern, because when you catch a bug or a crash, it's like painful for us to see, because we try our best to make sure that it's working in every situation possible, and but at the same time, it's good that you're finding it so that we can actually squash these horrible bugs. But yeah, curious, like what you guys think of the deck covers. Any opinion? What would be your favorite? Which one would you like to get? 100%. That's why we are in beta. And Peter says our way to capitalize on the amount of units probably will be not more frames or cheaper actions, but more along the lines of how Pink Gangster with Pack Hunt ability does. So yeah, like that would be a great way to capitalize. Yara says, I wish there were more ways to get rid of your own board, even if it's just overriding characters if your board is full. Even if it's just overriding characters your board. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, Peter, how to get rid of your own board, like even if it's just overriding characters if your board is full. Would that be something doing with tropes, or would that be another way to do it? What would be 100%? Woma says better to find the bugs now than when you launch early access. 100%. You know, it is, but it's still time. Every time a bug is seen, it is painful. I think I can speak for our producer Vidya. It's a tough time seeing those bugs because we do our best to make sure that's not there. LOR implemented that after a season or two and people loved it. The overriding characters idea? Okay. Yeah, Peter, you have to answer on that, what you think about that. Mina, what you guys think? Like, would this be interesting for you? Like the deck covers, and would you be customizing? I mean, I know some players would rather just have, very simplistic stuff, and some players would probably want like to customize. Don't even beat yourselves up. Software development is a very difficult thing. Woma, you obviously have experience from, if I remember, you said something about tech background, right? Like in the Discord. So yeah, it's, you know what's crazy is sometimes, I don't know if you guys thought, on one side I think like software development is so insane, at the same time there's like AI, so you kind of go, sometimes you have this moment of like, why is it like technology is so advanced and yet we still have those old problems? Yes to the deck covers in card backs for sure, which is what I assume deck arts are. No, deck arts are not that. Actually, this is deck arts were this is a plan. We will see. They're not my most top on the store list unless players like it. Since you mention it, we do have card backs, and we are working on more. Can these deck covers also somehow be shown in game covering your leader portraits? If I'm gonna buy on it, yeah. So that I think is the point. Like obviously card back you will see. The deck cover we definitely would see in the versus screen, but yeah, if you're thinking about it, we have to see if you would like to show it on gameplay. You have to figure it out because our screen's kind of. Oma says, "Oh baby, that horror card back, take my money." I think Gabe card back is soldier stash. So you would get, Yara would get the soldier stash deck cover, which is this one. Deck art, by the way, is at the moment I want to click it because we have some placeholder artwork there. But deck art, the idea was every now and then we would design some unique artwork that you could add to your deck cover. Now, obviously, these would be like splash artwork or something really awesome. And yeah, Yara says design is just lovely to me. The 4-slot rocket launcher being various cameras is just amazing. So you're a big Sergeant Ares fan, or you like Sergeant Ares. So yeah, it's great. Like it's quite fun to. He's, by the way, his art. Some of the director artwork in the current version possibly might be, which actually is a good point. Let me show you. If you ever see that, let me switch for a second back to Photoshop. It can happen that sometimes you see I mean, this is a final version, but sometimes you will see an artwork that would be rough color, so it will be a little bit like less resolution. You will see it, it will be less details on it, but it's still our artwork. It's just we work it in 3 stages. We do a sketch, we do a rough color, and then we do a final artwork. And usually the final artwork takes a long time, so we do the rough color faster because at least we can add the stuff and play it in game. And then later on the artist has enough time to do the final artwork. This makes it really easy for the artist to do the work, and they don't have this like time pressure. We're not breathing on behind their, or say breathing on their neck going, give us the artwork, you know. So I think that process really helps. I really think that we need to be kind to the artists, and definitely this all the AI art stuff, we should you know, how do you say it, like we have to be careful with that, like, because if everything is done by a single prompt or whatever, it's not going to be the same fun. The fun is in sort of going through the process of making it. So at least that's how I see it. I think AI art can be quite useful in prototyping, that's for sure, when you're developing and you don't want to break your money on funds for the artwork and stuff. And then once you're at a stage where you think the game's working, and then you can maybe probably get funding to show that, you know, we want to make it. I think that would be a good place to use AI art, in my opinion. But in terms of like yeah, it's a lot of fun to work with the artists. And so yeah, like they're animated. We are still working on some stuff, but they will be animated even on the collection when you select them, and they will be animated when you see on the versus screen. I don't know if this one's working. Okay, I like the text is not there yet, so it's very ancient. But you would be able to customize the deck art with the card art, and their deck art is like a special version, which is if you want to add like a splash artwork or a unique artwork that you made specifically. So that's really dependent. If players like it, then we know that we will do more of it. If players don't really care about it, then obviously it doesn't make sense to build these customized deck art, because you know they cost money, and we have to figure out like where to build stuff. I think we're ready for the Q&A, so feel free to ask any questions that you may have, and we will answer, or any curiosity you have. I really appreciate for joining this session. And yeah, like we're having so much fun making this game. Can't wait to is there some alternate way, like a Patreon or something, to financially support the game? Yes. This is something we were discussing. This is a plan. I will let you know. Like, one of the idea was like to do I mean, this is your, like, please speak let's say candid in your opinion. So we were thinking to do, some games do it, which is like a pre-bundle sale that you can have it, and so when the game's there, then you can actually, you pre-bought it, so pre-order in a way. But for the card games, it would be like, what do you call, like the pre-bundle, like you could buy packs or something. That's one way. Or the other one would be developers or supporters pack that you could buy, and those are two ways we were going for. But I also feel a little bit, I completely understand that in the industry there's also this issue where players are quite frustrated when companies want money before the stuff is done, because they better deliver it, in my opinion. Like, so this is the tricky part. You can't just expect people to give their hard-earned cash and then not deliver on it. And I've heard about this where certain companies have done it, where and then later on it turned out they didn't, how to say, deliver their promise or whatever. So it's obviously fantastic for us because any sort of financial support shows that people want to support the game, and it makes our case easier, for future funding and all that kind of stuff, like to make the game bigger. But yeah, I am open to the feedback from the community and see the best way to go about it that would be fair and like supports us, but at the same time it's the right way to do it. So yeah, please give us your ideas if you have any that you think is the best way that you would prefer. We're open to it. Also, another thing that we haven't planned, but this might not be for early access, but this is really dependent on how big we grow from here, that we would like to do. We wanted to do single player campaign, like a sort of story mission. Yeah, so Tugatsu says, have you tried reaching out to any content creators to help promote the game? So if I'm correct in how you're saying it, like directly, or do you mean like sponsored sort of content? Because we did do a sponsored, like a marketing campaign. We're gonna do another one, but we are like, let me put it this way, I mean, just as candid as possible. It's like we did a campaign almost a month ago, and I think Regis Kilpin did a video. I think he was amazing. I really think this dude's awesome. Amazonian, she was also fantastic. Like really, like they did a fantastic job. So we did like streams with 3 streamers. So like two streamers, Twitch streamer and 1 YouTube. Regis Kilbert did the video. That was sponsored. Raran was purely organic, which was fantastic. But I think the issue was for us was it's like, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think Twitch stream is very intrusive from my experience. It seems a bit like you better do a Twitch stream once the product is fully done, because it's like the first impression kind of thing, and if the tutorial doesn't make sense or there are issues with that, then yes, Datagen also. Yeah, we did the stream with Datagen, and I mean, all of them are fantastic. I mean, in terms of, they were very friendly and supportive, and I think yeah, so I just felt like our concern was, there's no in-game rewards, there's no like anything that the usual free-to-play games have, and then of course like they are bigger giants out there, so suddenly you see a game and if they don't get the tutorial or whatever, they quickly kind of miss out. That's I think the feeling we had, that we learned from it. The YouTube was the best one, at least in my opinion, not because the other streamers were bad or anything. It was more like the format, I mean the medium was the best. YouTube, I would rather go on YouTube. Yes, David Distribute, another one. He did. Oh, he's great. Melphis. I mean, those are not sponsored posts, by the way. I was only talking about the sponsored post. The non-sponsored, I will take any non-sponsored. That's fantastic. Those are the best people, because anybody who does it who's not sponsored is more genuine interest for the game, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying that the sponsored guys were not, but would you rather trust a person who is doing sponsored posts, or would you rather trust a person who's doing because they found the game and they love it, right? So I think David Distributed, Melphis, he did one, Card Games Emporium, Logan Thorne, with some other names I'm forgetting, but people have been making content, and it's been awesome. Like honestly, like when Raran was doing the stream, we were quite shocked. We did not expect. And if you watch the video, he enjoyed it. Like, I would say at least the whole 70 minutes he was enjoying it. So he didn't say anything. Maybe it's a professionalism from his part, but I would presume that if he hated the game, it would have shown off very quickly. So we do have plan, like you say, Togatsu. We have plans to do the campaign, and that's on the next steps. But I think the first step for us is to ensure that the next version is out with the all the economy and the card packs and everything, and rewards, daily missions, all that stuff is there. And then we will do another campaign, and yeah, like this is the plan. So hopefully, like that being said, it's still like I think in this it's a mixture of churro. Yes, churro expedition. Dima said that also did. So I think in this one thing would be is like if a game is fun, it would be obviously nice also to have parallel with it some organic growth, because organic growth is 10 times better than in that sense from sponsored post. But sponsored post is essential to get the original traffic, but eventually it has to stick. So this is the goal for us, which is, I mean, your comments have been very encouraging for us, giving us like more and more like confident that we built something really cool and people want to play it and people like what they see and they can see the love that's gone into the game. So it's a big deal for us. But yeah, like we will see how the journey, how to say, and the journey continues. We will see how the next steps go. But that being said, I think we'll do our best to make sure that it's a top CCG game that people want to play and have fun. So, and anybody who's gonna do a stream, we're gonna support any streamer who's gonna do the content. But yeah, like if you know friends, if you know any places where we could spread the word, if you know people that will be interested, if you wanna, it always helps. It's better the community than the developers, because the developers is always a bit, I'm sure every developer is harassing the streamers and all those people to play the game. We will also probably do key mailer. That would also probably help with getting the streams there. So that would be also another one. But yeah, like if you have any other ideas, like let us know. I mean, the more players are there on the PvP server, the more fun we can have. So this is the plan. Yeah, and what else? Like, yeah, we like I was saying earlier, like we also want to do like single player content. I mean, we are working on the bosses, but sorry, Dima. Somewhat unrelated, but I was wondering, we were spoiled the barbecue action lead as part of reveal season, and this trophy hunter leader looks like he's likely going into the adventure genre. Peter? Yeah, thank you, Woma and Shisan, for helping our Twitter growth. Like, I mean, everyone. I mean, like I said earlier, like you have no idea how much your interest it's in the game excites the developers. I mean, this is a relationship, right? Like where it's like developers make the game, and if there's a community that likes it, that's what the developers want, because otherwise we're building something in vacuum. And if people come back and like the game and like what they see, and it's a big deal. I think it's a privilege. I really think the companies who have that, where they have this engaging community, it's a privilege. And I really, in fact, even think that sometimes I've noticed certain companies forget this. They take themselves for granted. I think you should never take yourself for granted. You just always have to remember that you are because there is a community there. You are there, you're serving, you're entertainment industry, so you're serving a community and you're serving the players. So the minute you lose track of that, I think you're off the path, because it's a luxury business. It's not an essential per se, but it is essential because human beings need entertainment, and to make something cool and bring some like excitement in the life is very important. So Yara says this would mean that action would have 3 leads, while comedy, sci-fi, and mystery genres are all represented by only a single leader with smaller variety of cards. Uh, I, if I remember correctly, Peter, what genre? At least you can reveal this. What genre is Trophy the Snake-Eyed Hunter lead? If I remember correctly, is he comedy or drama? I don't think he's action. If I remember, yeah. And we definitely have another mystery lead. Definitely have another sci-fi lead. Definitely have another comedy lead. Yeah, so Peter says, yes, Snake Eyes is drama. Peter says, I believe we are gonna get at least one new lead for every genre during the spoiler season. So, yeah, the Snake Eyes is drama. So it's gonna be a certain amount of choices. Yeah, that's a lot actually. Yes, it is. And keep in mind also, like, there's also leads, like, early level leads and leads later on, and guess it's just an early access limitation then. um, what do you mean by limitation? What do you mean, like? um, Still very early days. You've got loads more to see. 100%. Oh, no, like, no. I mean, that's why the one thing I think there's a misconfusion, or sorry, not there's confusion, which is like the March is the early access launch date, not like the full launch date. But I think we had some issue with Steam to showcase it, because Steam has like some structure there. uh, it's quite, sometimes gives a headache when we try to arrange stuff in this Steam page to be clear in the setup. um, But that being said, yeah, there's a lot more. There's a lot more coming. And I mean, another thing that I haven't shown you, which I will show you in the next dev log or dev diary, whatever we're gonna call this, behind the screenplay, is there's a lot of VFX missing. There's a lot of sound effects missing in the game. So that's also gonna be there. Their leads have unique entrances. At the moment, we have Godfish has an entrance, but it's an older version. We'll have a better version. Still the chair reveal, but it will be there. Pirate has the anchor landing, but I think we still have a better version of that. But we also have Reksha will have his own like unique entrance, and Spade has his unique entrance, and other upcoming leads. So there's that, and then there's also like, you would see VFX, like if you would do alien abduction, a UFO will come and pick the card up and throw it into your hand, and then the UFO will kind of zoom past you the screen. So working on that also, like, so a lot of the VFX are coming. Yeah, there's gonna be, that's why Flat Earth Turtle was an example of how far we can go. That's why we added it, but we're adding that stuff too. Yeah, there's gonna be lot more dialogues for the characters also. There's gonna be, yeah, like, there's a lot of sound effects missing also, which is not the best, and improvements to the UI more, and obviously a lot more card art, a lot more cards. At the moment we have 2 bosses, but yeah, so Voma says, so early access is March, can assume that accumulated currency will be right for EA. There is a chance. Peter says we're still discussing on that. Yara says, shout out to Atlas the Turtle for being so visually pleasing to pull off. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah, there's I mean, we're discussing this, obviously, like, we're not in the mindset of like we want to make, say like we are focused on revenue from the players who are playing, because for us it's more about that you're the people who are building the community. So for us it's very important that we focus on that aspect of it. So I don't think that's our. So I think we have to discuss, like we are still discussing how we do it without, and we're open to suggestions to how to do it, but we just don't want obviously like that you have the already the best cards and kicking ass on PvP early on. So yeah, we're working on it, but you can expect some level of asymmetry between genres in observable future. Yeah. As long as you open, that's happening. Yeah, no, it is. It will happen. But we have to do it in a way that it's like the best, whatever the best approach is to do it. So we'll go that route. I think we also have like spoiler cards for today. I don't know if Peter already you posted them. If you have, but maybe you can post it already and we can start discussing that. But yeah, if there are no more questions, also let me know what would you like to see the next version. At least what I plan to show is like I will show next one some VFX stuff that we're working on, some cool improvements to the UI. I will show some backstory on the lore, like the movies, where they come from, and would go in that next devlog. And if I've forgotten anything, I could show you like some, if we are done by then. I mean, we're done with the animations, but I don't know if we'll be done with the implementation, but show the animated boards for drama and comedy. So the only one left now is sci-fi board, and I think only sci-fi board. An adventure. We had an adventure board, but at the time we were not very clear with the board design. Oh yes, I remember one more thing which I'm curious what you guys think. So just like you said that you want to flaunt the deck cover, we would also have a board transition or set transition. We call it movie set. So because the thing is like when you start the match, you see the set that you chose, and the opponent player has a set that they chose, and then what happens is whoever maxes the first lead out, that player's set will then be shown to the other player. So the other it'll be a cool animation effect that will change the set, and they will be seeing your set because you kind of making your movie and you have taking control of the set. If they max out the lead, it will transition, like you will see their set, and Act 3 it goes back to the winner's set basically. So Act 1 both have their customized set, but by Act 3 whoever's won that set dominates. And this would make sense because otherwise, if you got the set, you don't get to flaunt it, right? And it thematically works with the game also, because you as a director finished your movie and it goes in that direction. Yeah, I mean, it won't be like, it's a 2D engine, so it won't be like, how do you say, little items are changing or anything, but it would be like, let's say I have drama set and you have action set. I maxed out my lead. On your side, you will see like an effect, and it would transition the entire set to my set, which is drama set. And you maxed out the lead, then automatically it shows me your set now. If you didn't max out and I just maxed out, then it stays to the drama set. So you're watching my set basically. So that's like, I mean, it has to be there. Otherwise, like the sets are personal cosmetics, which wouldn't make sense in my opinion. So you obviously want to show the player like, hey, I'm the director and this is my set. So I think that's also another thing I will show you, like we're working on this. Yeah, exactly. More visual of who's currently in control of the set. Yeah, so that's like another aspect. And there are a lot of other things like little flavors we're gonna add. Like they're like little VFX that we add that makes it easier to follow. So at the moment it's like not fully done, but just kind of to give you an idea, when Sidewalker boss steals a narrative point, uh, two claws will emerge from underneath him and they will do a animation so that you could see that he's taking the star, and reverting it. So we will add like little VFX so that it's much more easier to follow who triggered what, just to make it much more easier to follow in general. So this kind of flavor is gonna be there. Like I think Snoopy Reporter, when he takes the cards, there'll be a bag that the extra cards goes into because he's collecting it like a journalist. So we're working on this kind of stuff. So there's not gonna be a lot of those VFX. Just small team, so working as much as we can. But yeah, I think we're much more closer to a big chunk, the heavy work being done. So now it's like adding the rest of the stuff as we proceed. So yeah, like very excited. Super awesome that you guys join in, and let me know what you would like to see otherwise. What else you would like to see on the next Dev Diary. And also, is Saturday the best time for PvP hour, or do you guys propose, if you have any other suggestions for a better PvP hour time, let us know and we can do that. Because we would like to do like a small mini tournament with the devs and the players. Would be awesome if we could do that, because we also enjoy playing our games, so we would love to play with the players. And I mean, I think it was maybe you, Tugatsu, like who did a rematch and then crushed me. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, Saturdays would be the best. Okay, perfect then. In that case, well then, thank you for staying or joining the stream. And I think after this, Peter would be revealing the spoiler cards, and we can discuss further on the Discord of what you guys think about the next spoils that he has in mind. Other than that, like I can't wait to play with you guys in the PvP next time, and also just continue working and building this game and making it awesome. So I'm gonna press the stop streaming. So thank you guys for tuning in, and really appreciate it. I'm getting used to it, just so you know, the format. So yeah, it's fun. Thank you Yara, thank you Woma, thank you Tugatsu, and thank you everyone. So later.